All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another cast with Trend Following Tyson. So with that being said, let's before we jump into the trend following analysis, we have to take up some knowledge, kind of soak up some things from some very successful trend followers, kind of give us an idle, kind of like a path on what we're doing here. And we had a show last night on Stock Talk, and it was very kind of electrifying, so to speak. It was a good show. But this is one of the quotes that I covered on ECYT, and my point was, if you wanted to look at one of the best traders, okay, one of the most successful traders in your aspect of trading, so to speak, all right, and you wanted to listen to what they had to say, and you wanted to say, hey, look, tell me how you created this wealth. How did you make? What were your secrets, so to speak? How did you do it? And well, this is what we're doing, because the quotes are the quotes and the information that we delve into every day before we start this analysis. This is the mentality behind the traders. This is how the billions were. This is how the billions were made. This is how the wealth was created. So, with that being said, we just need to stay in tune with the kind of fathers of trend following, and keep refreshing the mentality, and stay to the rules. And we need to stay true to the very essence of the things that these gentlemen created, this wealth, and the very fundamentals of trend following, the very mentality that makes trend following, the mentality, this winning mentality, the proper approach to trend following definitely can put you very, very far ahead, because it gives you a very clear picture of exactly what we're doing and exactly how you should be trading, so to speak, this whole thing here. So trading these trends. So with that being said, let's jump into this quote from ECYT, and then we'll delve into the trend picture. Thanks to everybody that was at Stock Talk last night. I did not air that show. It's not on YouTube. I'm sorry for that. I'll air it next week, and we'll be able to go back, and everyone could go check it out and kind of reanalyze that. But that was a very special show last night. We were just talking about, the system of sort of like people kind of enslaved by the system, and people trying to free themselves, so to speak, from this system of what would you have it called? I wouldn't really know what to call it, but they're really not looking for any. They really don't want any. They really don't want any leadership-minded people. They'd rather have as many slaves, in my opinion, as they can get. But with that being said, let's jump into the trend picture from ECYT. So, like I said, if you wanted to make $1 billion, you asked him, and you asked a very good trader like ECYT how you made $1 billion, this would be his response. The trading rules I live by are: I cut losses, ride winners, okay, keep bets small, follow the rules without question, and know when to break the rules, okay? One is cut losses, cut losses, cut losses, cut losses, cut losses, cut them small. And I'm going to show you another quote that's going to delve into the cutting losses very small. But you notice that was his number one: cut losses, then ride your winners, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're going to get to the winners that we're riding shortly. We're going to jump into the trend picture, and I'm going to show you all about the winners that we've been riding, all right? Keep your bet small. That way, when things fluctuate, you don't keep your bet small. That way, you don't have this emotional connection, which was another topic that we kind of annihilated last night on Stock Talk Live. Anybody that doesn't know what Stock Talk Live, we just get in the house, we get into the Discord, the trading room, so to speak. We get on live, and we kind of just delve into the mentality and what stocks are looking like, and sort of like the atmosphere for the stock behavior for that quote unquote time period, so to speak, which will be Saturday going into the next trading week. So like I said, keep bet small, because keeping your bet small will keep you unemotionally attached. And doing inside of this trading, you need to be as unemotionally attached to your decision making and to your process as possible. You need to be unemotionally. You need to be making unemotional decisions. Rather being said, you should be making decisions that are based on your trading process. After you have evolved your trading process to a point, you should be making decisions based off your trading process, not based on any emotions. Okay, follow the rules without question. You know the rules, the trend following rules. We go through them every day. We do these shows. Every time we line up for this business, we go through the rules. We're going through the rules now, so follow these rules without question. And number 5, know when to break these rules. I don't really break these rules too much, but I mean, I try to follow them as closely as possible, and I only break them sometimes, and I only would break them on certain stocks that have given me a quite rather plentiful return, or have been plentiful in their kind of tradings. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump into the trend picture, because I see we've been here for 6 minutes. So let's jump into the trend picture, and we're definitely going to analyze the stock. So let's jump. Thank you from XENE, one of the best traders in this current time frame that we're in now. So thank you for that word, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the trend picture. TNDM, I'm showing you guys this on the 1 year. Let me show you this on the 5. Remember what I told you guys, if we can start breaking, if prices, my Lord Jesus, if prices start rounding on this stock, which they're starting to, they have came to this level on the 5-year time frame. We've already come into this space. We're getting ready to clear this space. My Lord, if we clear this, guys, I'm going to show you guys this. We've had longs here since back here, since $7, $8 longs on this thing. Okay, so we're looking at almost 20 points. Almost 20 points on TNDM. Don't tell me nothing about hitting home runs, because we hit them here every day. This is the best trend following stock analysis that, in my opinion, that you're going to get on these stocks, because we're actually hitting home runs outside of the park where they could not be caught. Okay, we hit this thing from $8 to 26 right now at current price, and I told you guys to watch the breakout over this level, and we've done that. So this is absolutely, this is a home run if I've ever seen one. This is a home run if I've ever seen one. We've almost collected 20 points. If this was a regular, like in my regular positions, I like to take 1,000 shares per every trend that when I max my position size out, I'd like to have like 1,000 to 750 shares. That way I'm getting a plentiful return if prices work in my favor. In this case, if I would have took that 1,000 share long on this TNDM, we're looking at $20,000 on one return, and it's still 20,000 and counting, okay, on TNDM. So don't tell me crap about hitting home runs, because we're definitely doing that right here. All right, so I don't need any of you gurus to come, try to hit me with your magic wand and try to give me your furu-ness, because I mean, we're evidently absolutely decimating the trend as far as stocks here. Okay, this was my entry on ENPH when it was making this trend line bounces. So I made my entry here. That was earlier this year. That was at like it was rather at like 224, 225. And then, I mean, and just look at that thing. Look at, that's another 5 points on ENPH. But let me just show you the rounding picture here. So this thing is rounding. I like for prices to continue on ENPH. Prices still rounding. Like I told you guys, they're just basically mirroring this image on the other side, but we're still letting this pattern kind of fulfill. So if you guys ever see me drop a tweet and I say I'm just sitting back watching charts fulfill, this is exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so let's look at ENPH. Let's just pan out for one quick second. All right, so this is the levels that we're holding. We're holding $6.80 and $7 right now in the monthly, and we're just lifting off. So look for another higher high above this week, because it's holding 7 rather firmly. So I'd like to put a stop below 680. You see it rather Patrick Swayze grinding on this 200-day moving average now, kind of bouncing off of it. All right, Dirty Dancing on that 200-day. So we're looking plentiful there, and let's see for continuation on ENPH this week. So watch ENPH for continuation. Another beautiful stock that we've been following, ECYT. I gave you guys like a month ago or something like that. This thing is still a savage beast of a stock, as you see on this, what is that, a monthly time frame? Okay, so everything this stock is doing right now is just wonderful. So look for the next higher high above this. You can set you a buy stop trigger at 750, and then set you a stop at $17 for for prices to hold this last little area it's bouncing off of. Beautiful stock to get into right now. Wonderful trend. Look at all the ground it's covered. We've went from $9 to $17.26 at current price now. So absolute home run stock right there on ECYT. Let's jump into XENE. XENE. I don't know why I always call it XENE. It just sounds like the name of the stock is XENE. But I'm long here and I'm enjoying every bit of it right now. Here goes XENE right here. Beautiful stock. Alright. Everything looking wonderful here. So let's let this continue. Let's let this continue to the top. Alright. So XENE here. I just saw it making this sort of pattern here. Making another higher high above this. And that's exactly where we're at. So when I saw this pull back here, this is where I started adding heavily into this area here, because I knew that these pullbacks are just buying portions. So I definitely started buying here, and we got that higher high above this. You guys know my trading strategy. I'm all about higher highs. I'm all about setting higher highs over the last higher high that was pulled back. So boom, right there on XENE. Beautiful stuff there. So that stock set a new, kind of like a new high. So this thing should be at 11 this week, or past 11 this week coming up. So watch XENE. AXON looks a little funny. It had an alright week. It had some good days and some bad days. I'm not too much worried. I'm not too much excited about this, but I'm waiting to see if this continues to curl and if prices can kind of start to make some higher highs to catch up to this stuff here. So I love what AXON is doing, what it's looking like. Beautiful stuff there. Okay. I love what that stock's doing. I love the upside there. So let's see if prices can hold. You can buy it now. I don't like waiting forever to buy things. I like to just catch the moves while they're there. So you can buy that now and set you a stop below this area here, 235. Prices should be holding this 235. So that's a stop below 235 in that area. Okay. So I like AXON to continue. SVU. I know I showed you guys this stock, and let me show you what's working inside of this stock right now. I've got a few more tickers we're going to run through very quickly here. Wow, look at this. Showed you guys the last higher high to come across this here, and we're still pressing. Oh, actually, we've kind of pressed that whole issue. We're at 22, so we're getting ready to pull through this here. This stock looks wonderful for what it's been doing, and see this downtrend. It's broken outside of this by setting these consistent higher highs and lows. And you guys know from watching the show what happens when we start setting higher highs and lows. We don't know how much of the chart we're going to take back. We don't know how much we're going to knock down here. We don't know if we're going to knock this. We just don't know. So we just take these longs and ride these waves. SVU I like for continuation. Let me give you guys a quick level on it. 20. I like for it to just hold 21. Period. I just like you can't have a tight stop inside the stock right now, okay? So I like SVU for all the wonderful things it's doing. Alright. A lot of upside, and I showed you guys the consistent higher highs and lows there. So that's another beautiful piece of work to look at, okay? MNK. Beautiful long here. Look at the yearly, guys. We just traded down here, traded here, and then price has just started, just reversed. And I showed you guys this thing crossing the 200-day moving average. And then I also showed you guys this thing back here when we were touching over 18. We're at 21 now, so I like this for continuation. MNK, been one of the more consistent stocks for me. It's been one of the more consistent stocks. It's not one of these crappy ones that every time something happens with a tariff or a trade war, the stock just forgets it's a stock, and it just forgets everything it's been doing, and it starts to decline and just gives back everything it's been doing in the last month. This isn't one of those tickers. It has not been behaving like that. FNKO, you guys know all about this stock because I've been giving it to you. We've been following it here. We've been following these trends, these home runs. Okay, FNKO. I'm not saying there's not other home runs on the market. I'm not saying there's not other trends on the market, but these are the home runs that we're hitting, okay? I would advise you to hit some with us, especially the ones like TNDM, FNKO looking like another one, all right? SVU, XENE. It's countless, guys. It's countless. Okay. I like this last high. When I saw FNKO, I said, are we going to do the same thing that EGAN's doing? And obviously not. When I first saw this, when I saw this pullback, I remember I told you guys, the pullback here to 14, I said, watch this stock for green candles to come set a higher high above this. And what did we do? I mean, I told you guys this like hundreds of times already. And it's always true every single time. Whatever things that we're following and the way sentiment is behaving, it always kind of reevaluates itself and it kind of proves itself. So anyways, FNKO, huge winner there. All right, huge winner on FNKO. Nice trend to follow. All right. I'd like a stop here at 1550, below 1550 if you're barely getting inside this thing to hold this little space up here. Okay. 1535. FNKO. WWE, just a monster. This stock could be at past 100 soon. All right, WWE, I'd like for it to hold these levels. Beautiful uptrend here. See what it's done on the weekly. Kind of doesn't look too good. You don't have a lot of higher highs and lows here, but this stock definitely holding price. Definitely holding price. So I like it to hold 75. I like it, and you can give it a buffer space at 75. I like it to hold 75.50, and then give it a space at 75.25. Beautiful stock there on WWE. Beautiful stock there. SHSP. Remember I told you guys about this internet thing last week. All right, look what it's done. Look what it did in the 5. Let's check out the 5-day. Look what it did in the 5. Oh, remember, I remember this thing was horrible. I also remember that too. But here you go. As for as bad as it looks on a 5-day time frame, if you pull it out here, look exactly how it looks. Just a monster. All right. I thought we were gonna pop here and then make another little flat line, and we just didn't. It just continued to rally. So SHSP, solid stock right there, doing wonderful things. SHSP. NIHD, I like for the rounding. I took a long on this here. Remember I showed you guys this thing, and then you know, failed this stock, kind of failed to set a buy stop and trigger myself. But this thing still, it's a slow grinder, but it's consistent. As you see, since March. This thing, is this March? Yeah, it's March of 27. Wait a second. Oh yeah, since March. You know, this thing is before March. This thing's been wonderful before March. Let's pan out. Oh, that is the yearly. Okay. So this stock's been pretty good. All right. Since here and here. All right. So beautiful long, sitting right. This is a perfect buy spot, guys, for if you wanted to get long on NIHD. This is a perfect buy spot because it's sitting right here on this trend line. Sitting right here on this trend line. A perfect buy spot. And as you see, that green candle came in, right? Perfect buy spot on NIHD. And what is it doing? This is why we like it so much, because it's rounding. It's rounding towards these higher prices up here, okay? It's rounding. All right. MRNS. Show you this thing. Remember, we traded it this year, and we put an ambulance below it in case we need to call for some assistance, and we never had to call the ambulance for MRNS. It held this level, so we're looking for it to hold this up here too. Okay, hold all this stuff up here and start knocking these dominoes down. All right. And NIHD, we're looking for it to knock this down next. I mean MRNS, knock this thing down next here at $8. That's the next trigger spot, and it's holding up price really well right there. Okay. Okay. It came up to it. It came up to the $8. Here's the $8 resistance spot. See the big red line? $8 resistance, and then we bounced through it, came down. Now we're sitting at it. So I like that to continue right through that 8 this week. That looks poised to continue through that 8. BLFS, and then we'll get ready to close out. I'll look at RUBI and APRN. All right, so BLFS just rallied through this whole little bit of the chart here. Remember I told you guys I failed to set a buy stop here, and prices just rallied $10, $12 without me. It just feels awful. But, you know, BLFS still a wonderful long right now. Just taking off through the Raptors. Just taking off. has a humongous bunch of upside to cover if it decided to cover some of that space. It's already rallied through this, so we're in 5-year territory now. We're way over the last 5-year high, which was here inside the 5-year time frame. So this thing is awesome. BLFS, see what it can cover this week, guys. See what BLFS can cover. I like RUBI. My buddy Bull Bear is trading this thing, and you see it's setting higher, consistent higher highs and lows off this bottom. Not major market cap, but let's look and see what it's going to do here. We see that it was on a major downtrend and it pulls up and cracks, but this looks like it has exceeded this. So let's see if this thing can continue to kind of round and match some of these prices up here. A lot of upside on RUBI. Okay? A lot of upside. And you see how it looks here, setting these consistent higher highs and lows. We've already rallied through this gap here, and now we're here. Okay? So look for this thing to just rally through this, since it's so resistant to old resistance. It's so not even resistance. It's just it could basically care less about old resistance right now, and all those barriers. Is breaking a lot of barriers right now. So watch RUBI to be an absolute beast. Remember APRN, Blue Apron, I showed you guys last week. All right, before it just kept continuing. So APRN looks a lot like RUBI, having this downtrend change, and now look, we're just starting to cover ground. We crossed the 200-day. Remember I told you guys we crossed in the 200. Look what we've done since then. So look for continuation, consistency in price. Look at the consistency in the higher highs and lows here. Once this consistency rallies up, sometimes we get kind of parabolic. This chart may start eating this up. It may start knocking all this down, and it may start eating all this up. Okay, watch APRN. Let me pan out for you guys. It's not that old of a stock. It's very new. So it opened up here, had a lot of activity when it first came into the market. A lot of people were excited about it. Sentiment failed. Remember what I told you guys, sometimes when stocks do that, when they first open up, watch how they behave, because when sentiment when the market catches up to whatever this stock is doing, what it has to offer, if it's going to be a good ticker or not, whatever the case may be, you'll start to see prices come back. So here prices are coming back. Let's see how far these prices come back on APRN, okay? Beautiful stuff here. Beautiful stuff on APRN. All right, so that's going to do it for this week's for the beginning. We'll start the week out with this, and then we'll come back and check the trend picture, okay? All right, you guys trade safe, manage that risk in any case, all right?